because most racists aren't going to take a cross on your front lawn and start burning it and calling you racial epithets. Most racists aren't going to do that.
No, I'm not worried at all. I rely on God, Allah.
Now, there are types that this racism can manifest itself in. It can be covert and it can be overt. So what do I mean by that? And I think many people here in the West who are minorities will appreciate the challenge with covert racism. So what is covert racism? Well, covert racism is that you feel the effects of racism, but everything is checking off all the politically correct boxes. You know, it's like a slow burn. You can smell it, you can taste it, but it's so hard to prove it. Because most racists aren't going to take a cross on your front lawn and start burning it and calling you racial epithets. Most racists aren't going to do that. The ones that are the most dangerous and the ones that are the most prevalent are the ones that are going to give you the illusion that you are okay, that you are safe, but they're going to kill you with 1,000 cuts. And this is one of the reasons why, for our listeners, I want you to appreciate why sometimes people fake racial attacks. You know, there is a reasoning behind that, okay? We can't just say that that person is simply seeking attention for the sake of seeking attention. For many of these people, it's because they have suffered this covert form of racism. These slights, this unfairness that they can't prove, this slow grind that they feel like unless I give you something that is really overt, okay, unless I give you something that is like my hijab is being pulled off and I'm getting beat up, okay, they've seen that look, man, 1,000 times. And so now to get that sympathy or to tell the world I feel that way, some of them, they do fabricate stories of overt racism. That this guy came in, started calling me this, that, and the other, and was pulling off my hijab. You know, so you would see people who would do that for that reasoning. That's the type of psychology that occurs. And by the way, that's nothing new. That's nothing new. If you study the civil rights movement, so for example, if you study the storyline behind the protests in Montgomery, Alabama, with Martin Luther King Jr. and many of the civil rights activists, what they would do is they would want to stage almost the most brutal picture that could be published for mass media, because they would want to they wanted attention to come to their cause. And the only way really you get that attention, like, because things were going by status quo, no one's really going to change the system or challenge the system or cause a revolution to the system when you have the everyday slights, or people are saying I'm following the laws, you know, they're not allowed to come on this bus. I'm not being racist. We ended slavery years ago. And so now to change, it's still unfair, man. There's still something wrong. So to be able to change that, they had to stage it. They had to give you a clear picture why. So if you look at some of the stories, a reporter actually came in to help them at times. If they were being attacked by dogs, he said, no, your picture, taking a picture of what's happening is more important. Okay? So this is one of the reasons, this is how the covert racism can affect the psychology of people. Okay, and it's very, very sinister. It's like this hidden cancer. And I remember, myself facing it. I have been born and raised in Canada. I've lived in 3 provinces in Canada. I've visited almost every single province in Canada. I regularly travel extensively within Canada, and within this country, I have experienced this subtle, this covert racism. They're not coming at you and yelling things at you in your face necessarily, but when they can slight you or they can say certain things, then they do it.
Do I feel that the New York police are providing enough protection, or do I have to have protection of my own? I look for protection from Allah.